Welcome to the City. I'm Anthony Wilson, the Public Information Officer for the City of San Angelo. And joining us for the whole episode today is another one of our council members, the District 3 Councilman, Johnny Silvas. Johnny, thank you for being with us.
Anthony, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, last month's election focused a lot of attention on three main topics that I want to start off exploring with you, beginning with streets. How do you assess the city's approach to streets to this point?
I think right now it's been a long, slow process, but I think we're getting to the point where we've got some funding. We've got a lot more funding to move forward on it. But I like the rotation schedule, that idea that's come up that every 7 or 8 years we'll reconstruct whatever we have to. But right now we're going through the survey process to see which streets, because not all of them need to be totally reconstructed. Now Bell Street, that's a totally different animal. That thing needs to be redone. But there's others that are in line to be upgraded and not so much money put into them, but make them nice. But everywhere I drive, whether it's Bell Street, Harris Avenue, in my district, you've got rough roads everywhere. So I'm glad that finally funding has come our way, and we are looking very, very hard at starting to redo a lot of these very badly needed repair streets. So I think we're going to be moving forward on it here fairly quickly, and folks will start seeing that, and I think that's going to really start helping the problem out. So
you mentioned Bell Street, which of course is in your district, and there's so much frustration by so many people about the condition of that roadway. When people approach you about that, what do you tell them about why Bell Street is in the condition that it is and why it hasn't been reconstructed yet?
I tell them, first of all, that sure, there's a lot of traffic along that street like there is everywhere else, but I know that I really don't know why they did the south side of Bell Street. The north side was just left for naught. And I believe at the time, I wasn't on council, and I'm not making an excuse, but I'm just saying that I know about that time is when we got rid of a lot of the equipment, a lot of the personnel that were employed by the city working on the streets. But I think it's just the bottom line is funding, and people will come and approach me on that. And I've visited other cities where folks, they pay for the maintenance of the streets. So an idea is to maybe create a half-cent sales, some type of tax to improve the streets, because we are the ones using the streets. We're doing the wear and tear. So we need to be, and not so much let city government try to just remedy everything. We've got to take more ownership of our community. So I'm glad we've got some funds there for us to begin the process. Bell Street needs it. Why it hasn't is because of the lack of funding. I mean, it takes money to do anything. So I think people are going to finally see something happening, and I believe we're all going to be happy at the end. It's just a rough time for us right now. But again, monies are coming our way, and we'll begin the process.
Do you think Bell Street should be the #1 priority when it comes to rebuilding streets?
Yes. Bell Street is not only because it's in my district, but my gosh, there's tons of traffic through there, and it's a very bad street. And I've been on others that are bad, but unless you've been on Bell Street and have to maneuver around those potholes or those cracks and all, do you realize that it is a very, very dire situation that we have there. And I hope to one day be there when we break ground to do the reconstruction of that north side of it. So,
the City Council just very recently approved $4.5 million for the next round of seal coating, the 8-year rotation that you mentioned a little bit earlier. And the last time that we did that, we spent about only a third as much, but the seal coating did not turn out the way that we wanted it to. There's been a lot of discussions about how to remedy that problem in executive session by the City Council. When do you expect that there will be a resolution to that particular issue?
I don't have an answer to that. I wish I had a crystal ball and could tell you. I know that $1.7 million of our taxpayer money, including mine, went, and it wasn't handled properly at all. So right now we are still in litigation with that, but we're not giving up. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And in a lot of streets in my district, I think that a lot of things came into play. People saying that they just laid it down too fast. They're talking about how it got cold and how the material wasn't the right material. So I think we're still working behind the scenes to remedy that. How soon that's going to happen, I have no idea. I know it's taken a little while, but it's in litigation right now, and attorneys are talking to attorneys, and we're not giving up the fight. That we're just not happy, and I appreciate the constituents in my area that were concerned about it, because it didn't work out the way it should have been. So I totally understand their frustration. I'm as frustrated as they are. $1.7 million is a lot of taxpayer money that we are responsible for, so we're going to go after and make it right for them.
One of the other things that was a hot topic of debate during the recent election, in fact, we've been holding town hall meetings on this recently, is the new trash contract and the new services that are going to be provided under within that contract. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that the city council got the best possible deal for the citizens under the new trash contract?
After getting, we put out the bid. We've got 7 bids. I mean, we allowed 7 different companies to give us your best shot at it. And they were all sealed bid proposals. 2 came back, only 2 out of the 7. So that's the only choice we had. Opening them up, I mean, there was no comparison, apples versus oranges. I mean, some people will criticize us for jumping on board how we did. But my goodness, at the end of the day, we were looking at the bottom line and your taxpayer money. So in hindsight, could we have gone a little bit smoother? I think so. But, having to deal with what was brought to us to the table, I voted for it, so I'm comfortable with it. I think we saved a lot of money that folks would have dished out for no reason. It was a better deal. I think they've got, this company just pulled out all the stuff they could bring to the table and made it good. And I have no problem. I slept well that night knowing that, hey, I did the best I could. That was the best deal on the table. I'm okay with it, and I went for it. So,
in retrospect, do you think about, or do you wish that the council had done something differently within the process, even if you had ended up at the same result?
It was a time crunch there that was involved, and we were up against the wall. And I think anything different, I think it would have been close to a miracle, because, again, the bids came in. We had a timeline to go by. At the end of the day, I saw the bottom line. I saw the taxpayer and said, you know what? I don't know what else, unless something fell out of the sky that was better than these 2 deals. I think, I'm comfortable with the decision we made.
Of course, an ongoing issue, and it probably will forever be so with San Angelo, is water. What's your assessment of the city's efforts to secure more water for our community?
I think we are spot on. The Hickory is in place, in line for us as a backup. That took 40 years, to even get to where it's at. Behind the scenes, we've got administration working out and searching for other water resources. Thank God for the rains that have come our way, and I think we've got over a 2-year supply now. So I think just because we have the rain, our lakes, or some of our lakes are full, but we've gotten an abundant rain. Doesn't mean we're not stopping. We have stopped looking. It's a continuous process that will go on, I believe, forever.
Now that the Hickory Aquifer is online, the city is exploring the possibility of recapturing stormwater from the Red Arroyo or reusing treated wastewater, mm-hmm. and of course working with the West Texas Water Partnership to explore other potential water sources. Now that we've got the Hickory online, what do you think is the next best alternative for securing more water?
I like the idea of using some of that, the sewer water, because we're finding out that a lot of communities around us, Big Spring to begin with, that's a lot of water that we're just throwing away. And I think we need to really look hard into that, because that's an added plus for us. If we can turn around and use it for our gardens and trees and all, I think it'd be well worth an investment. it's a pricey investment, but again, we're just, unless you're capturing the water on your own there at your house or your business, you're throwing it away, and I'm prime example. I don't capture mine. I do at times, we'll capture a little bit of it to water my plants, my potted plants and all, but I think we're missing out on a big opportunity to increase our water usage in a wisely manner. So I think that's one option that we need to continue moving and looking into.
Let's talk about water rates, because that's going to be coming before the council here very shortly. What do you anticipate is going to happen with water rates?
I don't anticipate rates going up right now, and that's just me. I don't see why they would. We seem to have plenty of water there. If our community is growing, if we get to the point where the abundance of water that we have is dwindling, maybe then. I don't anticipate rates going up as far as I know right now. That's just me. It may be a little different that they're bringing to us, but right now I just don't see it.
Do you anticipate that there'll be some push by the council at some point to revamp the city's conservation ordinance in order to incentivize people to save water and conserve water as much as possible?
I would hope so. I would be all in favor of it. And we've asked people to conserve. We've heard this story before, and people have conserved. And we're really looking at the long term. So for folks to step up to the plate and do that, and it's a two-edged sword, because you conserve, but then the city doesn't sell water, which is how they operate. So it's kind of a balancing act. But I think if people continue to conserve and the abundant rains that have come our way, and I hope they keep coming, there's got to be a time when we have an abundance that we can, help out that taxpayer with some kind of an incentive type program or something.
We're talking with District 3 Councilman Johnny Silvas, and we'll return after this short break. A block-by-block survey of the condition of each city-maintained street conducted with state-of-the-art gear should be finished by the early fall. Once it is, the data within it will provide a much-needed roadmap to guide decisions on how and when to improve every City of San Angelo street.
Yes, we know the roads are bad, and we know they need work on them. The extent is to how much work does each road need.
Last fall, the City Council approved the study by Fugro Roadway to analyze pavement conditions throughout the city. Fugro has driven every road within San Angelo city limits using cameras, sonar, lasers, and GPS to identify deficiencies on each block. Fugro has assigned a Pavement Condition Index, or PCI, of 0 to 100 for each roadway segment. These scores, along with data such as roadway classifications, traffic volumes, and speeds, will yield a recommended action for each street. The compilation of those recommendations will form a comprehensive long and short-term plan for improving city roadways. Operations Director Shane Kelton admitted he was shocked when he first scanned a map of city streets that depicted PCIs of less than 50 as red and black avenues. Fugro assured him such street conditions are commonplace throughout the country. Kelton explained some of the problems Fugro noted during a June 2nd presentation to the City Council. Alligator cracking, which is the deterioration of a street surface that resembles alligator skin, is so bad on Mercedes Avenue that it earned a Pavement Condition Index of 0. Block cracking, which produces a larger pattern, lowered North Bell Street's PCI to 5. Bleeding, or the erosion of a street seal coating, was deemed severe on portions of Southwest Boulevard. And a preponderance of potholes on East 37th yielded the street a score of just 18. Fugro's final work plan will include budget estimates that will easily top $100 million. Kelton said the plan will ensure cost effectiveness by prescribing just the right improvements for individual stretches of streets.
What this study is going to do, it's going to give us a block-by-block breakdown of what we need to do to each road segment, whether it's maintenance, it's reconstruction, or some form of rehabilitation that falls in between just a maintenance function and a reconstruction function.
District 2 City Councilman Marty Self said he is looking for one thing only from the study.
Action. We need to move forward, and we need to. We've started doing some seal. We've restarted seal coating, and we need to find out where, from this study we'll find out where our streets stand, and we'll start doing something.
Self also said although street reconstruction projects will be expensive, he is ready to move aggressively.
It's going to take baby steps, obviously, because of the amount of money we're talking about. But I think we're going to have to be very aggressive and take some very strong looks at what money we have available and move forward.
For SATV, I'm Anthony Wilson.
Welcome back. We are continuing our conversation with District 3 City Councilman Johnny Silvas. Johnny, last year the City Council took advantage of a strong local economy and decided to, instead of lowering the property tax rate, to keep it as it is, collect that extra revenue and apply it to some really serious needs within the community and within the city. What do you anticipate the approach by the City Council is going to be this year in regards to property tax rates?
I would hope that we continue down the same path. I know that our city is growing. I've heard of numbers of up to maybe 130,000 in population. So people are continuing, of course, that great of a number of people will buy gas and groceries and going out and shop. And so the sales tax revenues will continue on an upward, maybe not a steep incline, but it will continue moving forward. So I would hope, like we've done over the past 10 or so years, at least keep it where it's at now. And I believe it's manageable enough with the revenue that's coming in. The oil didn't hit us as hard as some other areas, but still we got a piece of the action, so to speak. You know, the new hotels that have been built, the new construction that's happening, the folks that love San Angelo and find it surprisingly a beautiful little town that come and visit. So I think all that all comes into play as far as money's coming for us. Restaurants, you know, are full all the time. People are just, of course, have to eat every day. But I would hope that if we don't need to place a tax increase, that we would keep it where it's at. And we haven't needed to do so over the last number of years. And I'm fine with trying to keep it, if we can, where it's at.
Recently, the City Council purchased a piece of property downtown, the site of what is now First Financial Bank, with the thoughts that that might be a site for a new police station. What do you think that the approach for a new police station should be, and is there a timetable for that project?
I would hope that something happens within the next year or so, because, yeah, we purchased that property. And just because we purchased it doesn't mean that there's going to be a police station there. Sure, that's our first choice, and if we can make it work and build whatever we need to create the perfect situation for them, I think, you know, I'd be all for it. Again, we purchased the property. That means that property owner will soon have to vacate and build their own. So there's going to be a lapse in time where we've got to allow them to build their new facility before we even, you know, look at us moving into this building, having to revamp it, having to upgrade it, having to build more parking, or whatever needs to come along with it. You know, for those folks that have never visited our current police station, that is just an antiquated building. It's not suited right for a police station. So I believe it's built back in the early '60s or somewhere around there. And I visited and I've seen every nook and cranny, and it's like going back into back into the old days, because it's thankfully they've been able to survive in that building, but it's not a right fit for them. I believe a new facility, more state-of-the-art, a more secure and sound place is what they need right now.
Speaking of the SAPD, your Charter Review Committee is currently looking at some potential changes to the city charter, and the one that obviously will draw the most attention is the possibility of moving from an elected to an appointed police chief. Do you have a viewpoint on that particular issue?
You know, I've weighed in on both sides of the idea, and I really have no problem with keeping it as elected. I guess I could go either way, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the citizens of San Angelo that vote, hey, do you want elected or appointed? It's no different than when we did the smoking ban, that it came to us. Like, hey, let's let the citizens decide. And if it takes another vote, I'm okay with elected. You know, people can have a different viewpoint, but I don't know. You know, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be the folks that vote for the referendum or whatever we need to do to get on the ballot. It's going to be their opinion. And if it comes to council, I don't think we'll go there. I think we'll just let the masses, hey, give us what you want.
Another proposal is to lengthen the term for city council members. Currently, it's 2 years. The proposal would be that it moved to 4 years. What are your thoughts about having a longer term as a city council member?
I am a big proponent of the 4 years. 2 years goes by fast. I remember my first 2 years, and it's like a whirlwind. And for any new person coming in, it takes at least a year to get your feet wet, to find out how the intricacies of how the city government works. So 4 years, you would be very well versed on council and protocol, and you meet your directors from each department, and you get phone calls. You know where to send them and who to reach out to. So 4 years is perfect. You know, if they want to limit that to a 2-year term, I think that's even better. Next year I've started my 8th year, my 4th term, and I feel very comfortable, of course, but again, 4 years, that person, whether he or she be in that position, will feel a lot better than just having to run again 2 years later when you're barely coming out of just coming out trying to learn everything at once. So,
another proposal is that city council members be limited to 2 full consecutive terms, which would be 8 years total. After that time, they could sit out for a term and then run again. What are your thoughts about limiting the number of terms that city council members could serve?
I like the idea. I mean, 2 4-year terms, it's a long time. And that's the reason even I'm on my 8th year, and I'm ready to step down. You know, I've enjoyed doing what I've done. I've enjoyed helping out that fellow taxpayer of mine, constituent of mine. But I think it's time for new blood after a certain time. Let some person that has never sat there and is vigor and is energized. And I'm not saying I'm not burned out at all. I could run another 2 years. But I just think I feel like I've done and put in the best that I can, and I'm willing to allow somebody else to give it a shot.
City council pay has not changed since 1947. You're currently paid about $42 per month for your council service. The mayor is paid $50 per month. And there's a proposal by the Charter Review Committee in order to raise that pay to $300 for city council members and $350 for the mayor, and that's just to accommodate for some of the time that you spend on city council business. What do you make of that proposal?
I have no problem with it. I have no problem with even what we're being paid now. We are volunteers. We are a person that sits there with a big heart and does the best he or she can do. If this is a way to motivate people to run for council, well, so be it. Sure, it'd be nice, but I could live with it either way. Again, it's an incentive that might strike the interest of people that never thought about it. But if you don't come into this position, into this seat with a big heart and just willing to give of yourself to the folks that put you there, then you're not the right person. If you're looking at it for the money, you're not the right person. If it comes your way and the citizens vote on it and they feel that it's fair, then so be it. So either way.
Do you have any other priorities that you're hoping to accomplish here in the coming year?
Yes, I've got the big project there that we talked about on that Avenue P project. That we do have a town hall meeting coming up Thursday of next week, and that's been weighing on me all these years since we first approved the funding, and having to jump through hoops and having to just go around and litigate this and litigate that. It's kind of that one project there has weighed on me, has kind of bogged me down. So that's number one on my list. And again, from the folks, even the hundreds of people that work out at Ethicon that travel down Bell Street, that would be also a big priority on my list, those two projects.
With the Avenue P flooding project, is there anything you can tell us about that, about when you expect something meaningful to happen that will help resolve that issue?
I can't give you a definite date, but I would hope, and it kind of looks like it's going that way, I would hope within the next couple of months something happens, because you know, again, thank God for the rains. But again, those folks that live there, you know, we have all, you know, seen the devastation that's happened and seen the ruin that's happening in that neighborhood. I'm sad that they live there, but I mean, that's just a natural water flow that goes through there. So I would hope, Anthony, that within the next month, couple of months, something definite should be happening. It's gotten very, very serious. And again, the rains, the unexpected rains has only really alarmed a lot of other folks. And I think the push is going to be even harder for us.
You've said before, and you've indicated again here today, that you will not seek another term once your term ends next May. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that could change that?
That's a good question. I really don't think so. I really don't. Again, this term that I'm on, I wasn't going to run. But then I got the push from a lot of people. A lot of people came out of the woodwork and say, "You've got to do it just one more time." And with the blessing of my wife, and because it's just it's not just me; it's just other folks that it affects around me. But I really, I don't know what it's going to take to keep me on. I don't think there's anything out there.
We've got less than a minute left. What have you liked about your city council service?
I love making an impact on people's lives, people that I've never met before. I always return phone calls, always. And I just like being a part of this whole idea of making this community a better community. I love the stuff that we've done to upgrade our city and make it more inviting for other people to come in and visit us or even move here. So it's a neat and exciting time to be a part of this group that really looks out after the betterment of our community, and that's been the best part of it all.
We've been talking with District 3 City Councilman Johnny Silvas, and we hope you'll join us for the next episode of The City.